I swear to God, this is gonna make me learn Russian. Well, that's what I would say if this didn't exist. I already know that my pronunciation of Polish is downright awful, so now any Slavic language makes me run in the other direction. But this is really off topic. Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian, except she fails miserably because our protagonist already knows the language. If this was an isekai, that would be the full title. When I first read the line of this series, I thought it was just going to be another one of those series that overdoes their gimmick for 10 books, has the guy confess, they live happily ever after, the end. But no. This series understands character chemistry in depth. It has interesting side characters, incest, and the anime managed to bring in a lot of what was good with the light novel. That's right, this is a good adaptation of a light novel series. I know, I'm shocked too. See, this anime uses its gimmick in a way that enhances the plot, rather than have the story revolve around it. While the latter isn't necessarily a bad way of writing, there are some good examples of it working fairly well. It does mean that the story runs into problems like potentially reusing gags and having the story run on too long that the reader becomes bored with the overused premise, like certain other series. Alya's Russian outbursts are usually used in one of two ways, plot progression or humour. The important thing to note there is that there is actual plot to go along with the romance, which is something I appreciate a lot. The focus is on the main two characters, yes, but the plot isn't limited to their eventual relationship, and the side characters aren't used as just a way to push the main two together. You have a clear plot, side characters that feel like actual characters rather than plot devices, and it feels weird to say, but even fan service moments actually fit the character somehow? Basically, it does a bunch of stuff right. So the reason this anime did so well and was received positively must be because of the great writing and animation, right? No, it was because of this gremlin. And I won't feign innocence, I've been waiting for this character to get animated since I read the light novel. And admittedly, she's also a big reason some people don't like the show. But it, sue me, I'm biased. Look, all the things I said about this show are true, but sometimes there's a character that overshadows all the good stuff and steals the show for themselves. Whichever way you swing, Yuki's one of the first thoughts on people's minds when they think about this show, so talking about her first only makes sense. Yuki ticks all the boxes. Gremlin, check. Sad backstory, check. Nuanced character, check. Wants to f her brother, wrong. I know I mentioned incest earlier, but I was lying. As much as the subreddit would call blasphemy for me even suggesting this, Yuki does not in fact want to sleep with her brother. Most people are just joking around because the Suo siblings constantly tell dirty jokes and play on taboo anime tropes, Yuki being the main offender here. So this is a public service announcement for people being influenced by certain subsections of humanity. It's fine. You can watch the show without feeling like you've reached a new level of degeneracy. Except for the feet thing, can't get you out of that one. Rather loving aside, Yuki's a key component in what makes the anime so good. She's essentially filling the roles of comic relief, the protagonist's right-hand woman, and one of the series' antagonists all at the same time. Which is right in character when you consider how much of an absolute nerd she is. Of course she wants to play all of the important roles. But even as biased as I am, I can't say that Yuki completely carries the show. Rather, the real selling point is the chemistry between each of the characters. While sites like my anime list don't have Yuki listed as a main, I'd argue that the entire show is held together by the foundation of these three characters. The relationship between the three of them and also how they interact with the other members of the cast are the real driving force behind the show. I can't think of many other romances that I've watched or read that involve so many characters and relationships without making any of them feel forced or less engaging than the others. I can only really think of maybe Toradora, Horimiya, Bunny Girl Senpai, and Kaguya-sama that really did well in creating more than just a couple of different relationship dynamics. There's probably loads more that I've either forgotten or just haven't read, so drop the names in the comments and I'll repent my ways. I definitely don't think shows that focus on solely one or two couples are bad, not at all. Being more a reader than a watcher, books like Angel Next Door and Insomniacs After School are two of my favourite series, and the anime versions of both of them are good in their own right. But I think it's impressive when series can have so many characters and actually give each of them meaningful and engaging relationships. Plus, it helps for longer series to have more than one relationship to focus on so it doesn't become stale. Look, I like Angel Next Door, I really do, but I can only watch them repeat the same conversation on the same couch so many times. Having a boatload of characters means nothing if they're not fleshed out and interesting. Nothing annoys me more than when a show introduces a load of characters, just have them appear for a collective 5 minutes and serve as nothing more than extra padding. If a show can make me care about more than just the main characters, it instantly catches my attention. Then it's how they interact with each other and their separate dynamics that gets the show my full attention. Matsuchika and Alya, Yuki and Aino, Masha and Alya, pretty much every combination of characters in this series shares great chemistry when on screen together. My personal favourite is this trio, mostly because I heavily relate to Aino. Just not in the masochistic way. Whatever, I'm moving on. Right, the writing's good, who cares, this isn't a book review, you fucking nerd. Animation wise, you won't be getting Demon Slayer fighting scenes or JJK domain expansions, but you do get shots like this. Seriously, even Dress Up Darling wasn't this imaginative. The series manages to feel like a guilty pleasure anime while still being genuinely good quality. Like, I am extremely curious as to why it was necessary to have animation this clean for a character sitting up in her chair. She's not even a main character, hell, she's the side character's best friend. Regardless of budget and animation quality, it's usually the artistic vision behind animation that makes it good. And this show certainly has artistic vision in abundance. Jokes aside, I think the animation's fine. It does a good job switching from more serious scenes to humorous ones, especially this scene where we switch from basically a confession scene to Alya making this face. You probably know most light novel readers as people like the classroom of the elite community that constantly shits on anything anime related. And I agree, that thing is a massive pile of... But one thing I do look forward to seeing when an anime releases is how they choose to adapt scenes from the light novel or manga. It's more difficult for a light novel because there's no visual elements and readers create an image in their head of exactly how the scene will be, so someone will always be disappointed with the adaptation. Personally, I like keeping the two separate and appreciating both. If an anime doesn't grossly twist a character or plot, then I really have no problem with it, because I enjoy seeing others' interpretation of the stuff I like, or maybe don't like. Most of the time I don't enjoy the adaptations as much, but that's bound to happen because in any medium the original is usually better. Nobody understands their story better than its author. But even among the most dedicated light novel fans, I think most can agree that Alya got a great anime. And it's already been confirmed to be getting a Season 2, which, based on recent sequel releases, could either be next year, or could release alongside No Game No Season 2. Of course, as a superior light novel reader, I already know what happens in Season 2, and as long as it doesn't get blue locked, it will probably be even better than Season 1. One more thing before I end this video: if you somehow managed to find this first video of mine and managed to persevere to this point, how long would you prefer anime review style videos like this to be? Just like the Sword Art series, I suck at pacing, so if anyone would prefer longer videos than this one, that would be helpful to know. Anyway, I'm done now, so bye bye!